Hi golfers, this is Kevin Ralbovsky from the KMR School of Golf. It's a strange time. We are stuck indoors. We don't have access to golf courses, but by no means should we stop practicing. If this prolonged lockdown lasts for a month or 2 months and we do nothing for our golf games, it will be a very difficult transition back into any kind of normal golf. You will suffer. So I'd like to do a series of videos for you to get some practice indoors, things that you can do simply, maybe some things that are a little extreme, but you can find the spectrum that suits you best. But definitely we want to do something. Obviously we have a lot of time to spend. Reading is also a good idea. I would recommend Kurt Sampson's book on Ben Hogan. This is called Hogan. It's written by Kurt Sampson. You can find this on Amazon. It's an excellent story about the life of Ben Hogan and his struggles and overcoming what he had to deal with in the 40s and the 50s about becoming a professional golfer, and really just a story about overcoming struggle. Very riveting. And then my book, Om Golf, which a lot of what we'll do today is going to be, covered in this book, which is, beautiful photographs and from Kola Mountains, and so it explains the golf swing and the stretching. And we'll be doing a little bit about this. The information to buy this book will be below in the link, and also you can purchase it at Apple Books. So, 2 good reading materials for this time as well. Just keeping your mind engaged is also very helpful in this time, thinking about golf, visualizing golf. We'll have some other videos about, we'll take you through maybe a guided visual meditation on golf as well. So that will be helpful in the future. But let's start off with just some basic stretching. So golf-specific stretching, it's extremely important. You should be doing this on a daily basis. Please, please continue to do this on your own. If you don't do it, you'll regret it when you start playing golf again. So the first thing is we're going to simply, if you have a golf club, that's perfect. If you don't, a stick. This is a PVC pipe or just a wooden stick. If you don't have a wooden stick or a PVC pipe, then the hardware stores are open. Please buy one. I would recommend the pipe because it's flexible. It'll bend, and I'll show you why later why that's ideal. And the length doesn't have to be that important. 4 feet, 5 feet, it will do. We want it a little bit longer than your driver, and I'll show you why in a moment. But the basic starting stretches, we're going to hold the stick or the club or the pipe in your right hand like this with the right thumb up, and we're simply going to do some rotation. So I would bring your feet about golf width, so about hip width apart, and we're simply going to rotate your forearm and your wrist. So this is just a simple pronation and a supination. And the hand should be about chest high. Now if this is too heavy, we can also bring the hand in the middle of the stick. What we want to avoid is the bending of the elbow. We don't want to do it like this. So sometimes it's also helpful to hold the elbow with the opposite hand, just the tip of the finger, just to feel your arm extended, and then you can let it go. Pronation, supination. Very important movement in the swing. Now we're going to reverse it. Now my left hand, thumb is up. Going through that rotation, horizontal to horizontal. This is good for your wrist flexibility as well as forearm strength. Maybe just check yourself in the mirror, see if your arm is straight. Use your opposite hand to feel that extension. If you want to do it a little faster, go a little more like a windshield wiper. That helps as well. Okay, very good. So it's very important. We're going to do some more wrist exercises. Wrist strength wrist flexibility, extremely important in the golf swing, as well as the back. So probably your back is a very vulnerable area of your swing. If you're not doing some stretches for your back, golf can create a lot of problems. It's not a great sport for back health in general, because it involves a lot of torque and bending and twisting and rotation. So we've got to keep your back supple to do what the golf swing requires. So we'll simply start off with the stick again, and we can have a wide grip. Arms can be nice and straight, and we're going to start overhead. Feet are in golf width, about hip width. Elbows are straight, wide grip, and we're going to start off with some side bends. So my hips are going to go to the left, my upper body is going to go to the right. I'm going to keep both arms straight, and then I'm going to look up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back up. Then we do the other side. Both arms straight. Give yourself a moment. Look up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then back to neutral. And then give yourself a second to rest. So we should really be doing these for 3 sets, but for time purposes, we'll do just 1 set. And but we've got a lot of time, so by all means, take advantage of it. Try to do 3 sets of all of these. The next thing we're going to do is a back bend. So we're going to go back up, turn to the side. I'm going to let my elbows bend a little bit here, and still in nice golf width stance. And my hips are going to go forward. I'm going to lean back. I'm going to look up and breathe. Don't hold your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back to the middle, and then rest. So don't feel like you have to strain or push yourself to the limit. Little by little, progress is made, so don't force it. So sometimes people get in trouble when they do stretching because they push their limits too much. You want to have a gradual sort of progression in your flexibility journey, right? So you want to have some discomfort. If you're not feeling any discomfort, then you're going to get a minimum of result. So probably on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to be about a 5. If you push yourself to 8, 9, 10 in discomfort, you risk injury. If you're in the 1 or 2 range, probably not going to get much gain. So just, in general, our journey in yoga, we find the center of things, right? The balance. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my stick up to my shoulder width. Again, pay attention to your feet. Feet are a little bit flared open, left foot and right foot. Talk about that a little bit more too, hip width. And now I'm going to add the rotation. So keeping my arms straight, I'm going to turn. I'm going to bring the stick all the way behind me. My head's going to follow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back to the middle. Inhale. Exhale. And return. Nice big twist. Let your head follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then return. Don't come back to center. So breathing is also important. I'll go into another video later this week about specific breathing, and we'll talk a lot about that in a future video. But for now, we're just going to do natural breathing, and I'm going to remind you to breathe when you stretch. So that will help with your range of motion, and also reducing tension. So breath has many, many benefits, and there's many breathing techniques that we can explore. In yoga, your breathing technique is called pranayama. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a forward fold. First, a little pike position. So I have my stick. I'm going to put it vertically down in the ground. Feet are still hip width. Just extend my tailbone. Bring my ears inside my bicep. First, I'm going to look down. Feel the stretch. And then gradually look up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And yourself a moment. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, now we're going to take it a little deeper. So I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to go all the way down, just keeping my gaze out in front of me like this. So I'm not gonna round my back prematurely. I'm going to try to extend my tailbone out, keep my gaze forward. Keep that stick up, and then just gradually let the stick come down just below my knees. That's the starting point. I'm still gazing out in front. So as soon as my gaze goes down, my back's going to round. So we want to encourage length in this first part of the forward fold. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to let the stick go down your shin a little bit. Continue to relax. Let gravity do its thing. Your back is going to start to loosen up. You can just give it a moment. Right? There's no rush to get down to your toes. Inhale, exhale. Every time you exhale, maybe the stick will come down a little bit lower. Inhale, exhale. Finally, last, I drop my neck. Again, bring my ears inside my bicep. Now I'm going to bring the stick behind my calves, and using the strength of my arms, I'm going to pull my head a little closer to my legs. Look back up. And then I'm going to bring the stick above my head. Just breathe. And option here, if you want, reverse the grip. Keep your grip nice and wide, and bring it right back in front of your shins. And then slowly stand back up. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, that was very good. So, take it at your own pace and listen to what your individual body can do and wants to do. So don't push it, don't force it. This is a daily practice, right? So little by little, you make small increments. We just chip away at the flexibility. And over the course of days and weeks and months, it really starts to tangibly improve. And that's what's really nice about stretching, is that there's very little skill involved. It's just mostly doing the daily repetitions and trying to do it safely and correctly. So we can all improve flexibility, and we can all improve our balance. So we're going to work into balance a little bit, because balance is obviously a huge important part of golf, especially the ability to balance your weight on your left foot, because we shift our weight so aggressively into our forward foot at impact and into the follow-through. And so as we age, balance is definitely going to start to diminish, right? This is just a function of aging. So you can reduce or even improve your balance just by practice. So just like everything else in this life, practice will improve the skill. So we're going to start off very basically. I will bring my feet together, and then my right foot first. Now you can use the stick. You can put it in your right hand, just if you're a little bit, if you're new to this. And then simply bring your right foot behind you, knees together, and hold. Right, now if you're feeling confident, keep your gaze at one unmoving point. Maybe lift the stick to your hips. Maybe raise it over your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you want, you can go straight into the forward movement of the right foot, or you can take a break, reset, and then lift your right foot straight up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Option to keep this grounded the whole time. Right, now we'll do the other side. I'll do it this way so you can see. Start off straight. Stick is in the left hand, right? Knees together. right? I can also do a little bit of foot flexibility here, pointing and flexing my foot. So this is dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. This is important in golf as well. Again, option, lift it up, option above the head. 5, 4, 3, whoops. I was up there a little too long there. And then back up to here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Again, remember the option. Oh, keep it grounded. If you are struggling with balance, or you ever fall out of a balance pose, it's no big deal. That's part of the process, right? So you fall out of it, you just get right back up. We do a lot of balance poses in yoga. Everybody has to do a lot of falling out in order to really get the brain completely acclimated to the pose and to find that perfect sweet spot, the balance point. Okay, so now we're going to do a twist with the balance, because we're also twisted when we do the golf swing. So again, we're going to have our feet about hip width, a little bit flared out. I'm going to bring my stick in the right hand, and then I'm going to bring my right knee up. I'm going to bring my left hand across my knee or my thigh, and I'm going to add the twist, and I'm going to look to this direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then come back to the middle, release it, go to the other side, foot comes up, reach across, twist, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You also have the option, if you want, you can lift the stick up. It's perfectly okay. And then back down and reset. Right, so ideally we're doing 3 sets of these. Right, we have a lot of time, so 3 sets is going to give you the most benefit. And again, probably each set, you're going to just increase the intensity. So maybe start off the first one, very, very easy, maybe use the stick, and then by the third one, maybe try to release the stick and do strict balance. Okay, so now let's get into using the stick in a functional way for the golf swing. So basically, at home, you might have something like this. You could invest in a net, use it in your backyard, and actually hit some golf balls. And I'll do that in some future videos, and we'll work on swing technique. But most of us need to really use the stick as a means of making the swing, A, more mechanically sound, and B, more intuitive. So what could be better than in combining the two, right? Because we wanted the swing to feel natural, we want the swing to feel simple, we want to have a minimum of swing thoughts, but on the other hand, the swing is also so specifically oriented that if you're just a degree or a millimeter off in any position, it can have a serious effect on the result of the ball. So it's incredibly important to be both technically sound and also have a very sort of simple swing model. And this is what really the value of the stick is, incredibly simple. So we're just basically moving an object, the golf ball, with a stick. The stick is our golf club. So I always have people will put the stick, this is why we want it a little bit longer, so it should rest against your left hip. So the club should not be directly dead straight. Right? There's a lot of reasons for this, and we'll kind of go through this, but the swing is less intuitive when you start off like this. If you start off with the stick angled, right, with our hands in front of the golf ball, right, then the stick and the left arm become in a straight line. Right? And it helps me return the club back into that same position where the hands are in front of the ball. So that's the only way I can hit a golf ball and take a divot, right? The only way I can hit down on a golf ball is if my hands are in front of the ball, right? So why would I start with my hands behind the ball or actually above the ball, right? I would have to then make an adjustment in the middle of the swing. And really, a simple swing, there's a minimum of mid-course adjustments. So this is the value of using the stick as well. So the base end of the stick is at my belt line, or my left hip, and the tip of the stick is on the ground. Right? And I'm going to keep my elbows together. So we don't want to have our elbows apart like this in this very kind of bent, flexed position. We want our arms extended. And that's going to narrow the gap between the elbows, and we want to keep the elbows relatively narrow the whole swing. That keeps the lines of the swing very clean. Right? And then also with the grip, with my hands, with this club angled, my left hand is going to be slightly over, my right hand is going to be slightly under. That also, with my right hand slightly under, it pinches my right elbow down and in. So it's really important to have that right elbow in the down and in position, right? As soon as it starts to fly out, right, we have complications. Generally, the over the top, the casting, a lot of that is caused by the right elbow out of position, in a high position, and also too much spacing from the elbow and the body. Okay, so back to address. Elbows are together, hands are forward, and we're just going to hold here for a moment and just breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first movement off the ball is the takeaway, right? So I'm just going to, from my address position, I'm going to move my arms, move my shoulders, my wrist might flex just a touch, and then the stick is now parallel to the ground. Right? So I haven't moved off the ball, I haven't gone laterally, I haven't turned my hip. All I've done is moved my shoulder, my arms, and maybe a touch of wrist. Right? My right elbow is still into my body. I'm not wide out here like this with my elbow, but my wrist is going to stay relatively wide throughout the swing. I don't want to create all that gap, because somehow in the downswing I'm going to have to close the gap. So why, again, make it so hard on the brain? Takeaway is parallel, stick is parallel. My right elbow is right against the side of the body, shaft's parallel to the ground. Right now I'm going to start my rotation. So my hips turn, my shoulders turn. The club is already set, so I'm not increasing my wrist angle or my elbow flexion. I'm just maintaining halfway back, finish the shoulder turn. And with, let's say, an iron, I'm not going to quite get to parallel. And my wrists are cocked 90 degrees, but I'm not going to add any more wrist cock. Basically, I feel like right here, the wrist cock is done. And now I'm just turning, right? Trying to stay centered. You know, the old adage of turning in a barrel, right? That's what we want to feel like in the backswing. I still have 90-degree wrist break. That's 90 degrees, right? It doesn't go to parallel, right? This angle is 140 degrees, right? So we want to stay 90 degrees, right? My weight is back in my right heel and my left toe, right? Back to the target, right? My first movement down is weight shift. So how do I shift my weight? I move my feet, then the knees, then the hips, right? My arms are just following, and bring it all the way back down to parallel again. Right now, but this time, when I brought it down to parallel, because my weight is now in the majority of my left foot, the hands are now a little bit in front of the ball. And then the wrist will uncock. There we go, out impact. So with the PVC pipe, I can bend the pipe and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I really want to feel that stress, that downward stress into the ball, into the ground. Then my left knee starts to straighten. I'm going to swing this around, parallel. My gaze is still down at this point. My hips are turned. Arms are straight. Now the wrists are going to cock upward, and then the elbows, and I'm done. Come back on now. Right?
Right, so that's the feeling of the swing. Now, when you actually hit a ball and we add momentum, there is going to be some small differences, right? But in terms of when we're doing it in a static hold, that's what we're feeling. And we should do this left-handed as well. So we want to balance out both sides. So again, we're going to put the stick now on the right heel. Now the right hand goes under the left. Left hand's over, right hand's under. Right? Feet are still here. Right? When we go through this very quickly, maybe we'll do some isometric holding. So here's the takeaway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Parallel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uncock the wrist. Impact. Stress that pipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swing it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrist cock up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're done. So again, probably 3 sets on each side, isometrically holding. Very, very valuable. Just to familiarize yourself with each position of the swing and really be aware of them. So we can also look from down the line view. So I have a stick here and a wooden block, and you can see now the plane of the swing. So again, I'm going to put the stick on the left side of my hip, right? And I'm going to go to address, and so you can see the 2 sticks match, right? So if I go up this plane, here's the takeaway again, right? So you can see my stick touches the alignment stick that's in the wooden block. Right? That's the takeaway. So there's no reason to go out here. Definitely we don't want to be in here, right? So early turn or horizontal wrist break makes the club head go inside. Lifting the arms makes the club go outside. So what we want to do is we want to use the shoulders, the arms, and a little bit of wrist break just to get the club up on that swing plane. Right? Then as I start to turn, you notice it will go right to parallel to that plane, very close to one plane. Right? There is a shift, right? It's going to shift upward. I can't go this way for very long, right? So there's going to be a little bit shift upward. We're going to keep it parallel. Boom. Up to the top. Knees stay flexed. Right? Everything's on plane, right? None of this. Right elbow did not go across. Wrists did not overly flex. Right? Staying, keeping those elbows together. And then come right back down. The weight starts to shift. Right? We turn it right back down. Back to the impact line. Right? The shaft's going to be a little higher at impact than it is at address because of centrifugal force. Your posture is going to get a little taller. Right? And I'm going to swing it around and then back straight up. I'm not going to swing it around that way unless I try to hook it. Right? I want to keep that club face square and then go upward with it. Right? That helps you hit a straight shot. Right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that also in some future videos, curving the ball, and we'll use the golf club and the net to demonstrate a little bit more about that. So that covers the elements of the golf swing. I think in terms of practice at home, that's basically the direction we want to go for now. And we'll cover some more subjects like driver and different side hill lies and things like that, curving the ball in the videos to come. So hopefully I'll give you some periodic videos for you to enjoy and have something to look forward to during this time where we're stuck at home. So, you know, it's an interesting and strange time at the moment, and you would never have thought in a million years that golf would be taken away from us. So we've got to make the most of this situation. And indoor practice is going to be essential. So for not only your golf game, but also for your physical health and your mental health. Definitely having these things to work on and to apply can improve the quality of your life. So that's my goal, and hope you enjoy. I will see you very shortly. Thanks.